Stress. When you get home, what is the first thing you reach for? I remember when I was a young lady and my kids were at home. They're all grown now and I have grandchildren. But when I was young, it's like when I got home, the first thing I would reach for, actually before I got home, I would stop at the convenience store and get 2 or 3 candy bars. And I would hoard them and I would have the candy bars and then a few glasses of wine. And I was chill. I was chill for the evening, lay in front of the TV, probably fell asleep, passed out. And that was a way that I could let down and relax after working a hard day at work. And sometimes I worked 2 jobs. So I had to inhale the candy. I had to inhale the drinks to calm down my nervous system. But there was a cost. And the cost was I was not there for my kids. I was there physically, but I wasn't there mentally. I wasn't there emotionally. I wasn't there connecting with my family. I was not connecting with my children. I was so involved in my stress, my overwhelm, that I felt like I had nothing to give anybody else. And certainly the candy bars and the wine helped dull my senses so that I could just debrief from a hard day. But my kids also had hard days. I was a single mom. My husband and I divorced when my kids were 2 and 5. So as my kids grew up, they needed that emotional support. And I think now that I wasn't able to do that. And it took many years of healing for me to do that. But I had to reach for the wine. My invisible rule was in charge. Like it was in charge of me. It's like my coping mechanism. This is what I saw in my family, and that alcohol was the be all, do all, and end all for all your problems. But the truth is that they were beginning of many problems. And so therefore, the example even that I set for my children. And thankfully, one day I was able to say, I'm not going to grab the candy. I'm not going to grab the wine. I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to sip on this water, a cup of tea or something, but I'm going to be there and I'm going to be present. And I wanted to get beyond my invisible rule. I did not want it to be in charge of me. So what do we do? How can we learn to enjoy life without drinking wine? Hey, I had a client, her name was Nancy. She was a litigator, and her invisible rule was like, I got to do more, 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 I got to perform, I got to outperform, I got to perform. And her family was over there in the sidelines. And then even when she was home, she had to have her wine. That was her release. Like before she hit the door, take her shoes off, sit down in a briefcase and grab a glass of wine. Children, I'm telling you, are watching and they're there. And if you have children, she missed a recital, her children were resentful, and then they're teenagers and they're angry. What are you so angry about? I'm like, I've been providing for you. Yeah, materially, but not emotionally, not feeling love, not compassion, not empathy, because we're so involved in what we have. And so we use alcohol. And the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse ties stress-driven drinking to 23% of high-performing professionals. That's 1 out of every 4. That's a lot of people, a lot of children. So let me ask you this. What if you had a favorite drink, whether it's ice cold water or soda, 7-Up, Pepsi, lemonade, pink lemonade? What if you came home one evening and you had that drink sitting there in the fridge? So you walk in the door and say, one evening a week, I'm going to drink this and not the wine or the candy or overeat. Like I'm going to be present for my family 1 day a week. What would it take? You will be getting beyond your invisible rule, and you'll be helping your children's invisible rule. Once I'm able to choose water, a domino effect. None of my children to this day have problems with alcohol because I set the example. They were teenagers and we did go through some addiction with my children, but we were able to turn the bus around. And now when we get together, they may have some wine or something like that. It's not a daily thing for them. So what would you do if you, for one evening a week, said, I'm going to be in charge of my invisible rule in this area of my life. And for one night a week, I'm going to be with my family and I'm not going to allow alcohol to totally destroy my relationships and my family relationships and my relationship with me and our health. I have to tell you, recently my ex-husband was not really present for my kids, unfortunately. And they got a call that he was in a nursing home. He's 6 months older than me and he's in a nursing home and he can't walk. And his teeth and all of that from drinking. Let me tell you, there's a cost to pay. So I'm so blessed that I was able to learn and say, okay, I'm not going to have that invisible rule ruin my family and take over my life. And because of that, I have a wonderful relationship with my children. I have great health. There's so much more. So when you think that you can't get by without alcohol or overeating, think again and subscribe. And we're going to talk more and more about how you can overcome your invisible rule too.